The discovery, the vastness of space, stretched endlessly before the research vessel horizon, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the unusual readings flooding a holographic display. After 15 years of deep space exploration, she thought she'd seen everything the universe had to offer. She was wrong. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this." Commander Rodriguez's voice crackled through the ship's comm system. "We've detected an anomaly in Sector 7. The anomaly turned out to be a massive derelict vessel, easily 3 times the size of the horizon. Its alien architecture defied conventional design, with curved surfaces that seemed to flow like liquid metal frozen in time. But it was the energy signature emanating from within that caught Sarah's attention, a pattern unlike anything in their database. "Life signs?" Sarah asked, already suiting up for the investigation. "1," Rodriguez replied, his voice tight with tension. "But it's fluctuating, almost as if it's not entirely biological." The boarding team consisted of Sarah, Security Chief Maya Watson, and their advanced AI specialist, Dr. James Kumar. As their shuttle approached the derelict vessel, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The alien ship's hull parted before them, revealing an entrance that seemed to form spontaneously. Inside, the air was breathable but cold, hovering just above freezing. Their footsteps echoed through corridors that pulsed with faint bioluminescent light. "This technology," James whispered, scanning everything with his quantum analyzer. "It's centuries beyond anything we've encountered. The entire ship appears to be one living organism." They followed the life sign readings deeper into the vessel, through chambers filled with abandoned research equipment and dormant terminals. The further they ventured, the stronger the feeling of unease grew. Finally, they reached what appeared to be the ship's core. In the center of a vast circular chamber, suspended in a column of shifting energy, was something that made them all stop in their tracks. A creature floated there, neither fully organic nor mechanical. Its form was vaguely feline, but its surface shifted between metallic scales and translucent tissue. Circuits and veins intertwined beneath its skin, creating patterns that seemed to tell a story they couldn't yet understand. "It's beautiful," Sarah breathed, approaching the energy field. "And dangerous," Maya added, her hand resting on her pulse rifle. "This has to be a weapon. Why else would they abandon it?" The creature's eyes snapped open, golden irises with pupils that contracted like camera apertures. It looked directly at Sarah, and in that moment, she felt something brush against her mind, a presence both alien and somehow familiar. "Help," a voice whispered in her thoughts, "please." Sarah's hand moved toward the control panel before she could stop herself. Maya grabbed her arm. "Doctor, we don't know what we're dealing with." "It's dying," Sarah replied, her fingers hovering over the controls. "Whatever they did to it, they left it here to die. I won't let that happen." The decision she made in that moment would change the course of human history. Sarah Chen, the scientist who had always followed protocols, who had built her career on careful observation and methodical research, chose to listen to her instincts instead of her training. She deactivated the containment field. The creature fell forward, its massive form collapsing onto the deck. Up close, they could see the extent of its modifications. Neural interfaces merged seamlessly with muscle tissue, metallic bone structures supporting a framework that was both organic and artificial. Its chest rose and fell with labored breaths as it opened its eyes again, focusing on Sarah. The mental connection strengthened, and this time she could feel its pain, its confusion, and its gratitude. "I'm going to help you," she said aloud, kneeling beside it. "But I need you to trust me." The creature's response came not in words but in feelings, acceptance, relief, and a deep, profound sadness that made Sarah's heart ache. Whatever this being was, whatever purpose it had been created for, it had suffered greatly. "Dr. Chen," Rodriguez's voice cut through the moment. "We're detecting multiple ships entering the system. They're not broadcasting any recognition signals." Sarah looked at the creature, then at her teammates. They all knew what this meant. Whoever had abandoned this ship was coming back. Now they had to decide: leave the creature behind or risk everything to save it. The creature struggled to its feet, its movements becoming more fluid as it adapted to its freedom. It stood nearly 3 meters tall, its presence filling the chamber with an energy that made the ship's systems flicker in response. "We need to move," Maya urged, already backing toward the exit. "Whatever decision we're making, we make it now." Sarah reached out, placing her hand on the creature's metallic hide. Through their connection, she sent a simple message: "Come with us." The response was immediate. The creature lowered itself, offering its back to them. Sarah understood. It wasn't just accepting their help, it was offering its own. As they raced back through the alien vessel's corridors, Sarah realized they had just stepped into something much bigger than a simple rescue mission. They had found something that would either be humanity's greatest ally or its doom. The creature moved with impossible grace, its hybrid nature allowing it to navigate the ship's organic pathways with ease. Through their mental link, Sarah could sense its growing strength, its systems reactivating after what must have been years of dormancy. They reached their shuttle just as the first tremors shook the derelict vessel. Someone, or something, was boarding the ship. "Hold on," Sarah told the creature as they prepared for emergency departure. "We're getting you out of here." As their shuttle broke away from the alien ship, Sarah caught a glimpse of the approaching vessels, dark, angular shapes that seemed to absorb the starlight around them. The creature tensed, its fear palpable through their connection. They had just declared themselves enemies of something ancient and powerful, but looking at the being they had rescued, watching as it curled protectively around them during their escape, Sarah knew they had made the right choice. Humanity had just gained its first truly alien ally, and the galaxy would never be the same. Breaking trust. The Horizon's quarantine bay was never designed to hold something like Atlas. That's what Sarah had named the creature, after watching it support the entire weight of a collapsed bulkhead to save a trapped crew member during their frantic return to the ship. The name felt right, a being of immense strength carrying an equally immense burden. Commander Rodriguez stood on the other side of the containment field, his weathered face reflecting the blue glow of the barrier. "The Council's sending a specialist team. They'll be here in 48 hours. They'll try to take Atlas," Sarah said, not looking away from where the creature lay curled in the center of the bay. Its surface rippled occasionally, circuits pulsing with internal energy. "You know that. It's not our decision to make, Doctor. This is beyond our jurisdiction." But Sarah barely heard him. Through her growing mental connection with Atlas, she could sense something troubling, memories surfacing like bubbles in dark water, fragments of laboratories, of pain, of other creatures like Atlas that hadn't survived the procedures that made them what they were. "They were building an army," she whispered, "but Atlas was different. It developed empathy, emotions. That's why they abandoned it." Rodriguez stepped closer to the field. "All the more reason to let the specialists handle this. We're not equipped for—" An alarm blared through the ship, cutting him off. Atlas's head snapped up, its golden eyes focusing on something they couldn't see. Through their link, Sarah felt a surge of warning. "They're here." Atlas's thoughts resonated in her mind, clearer now than ever before. "The creators, they're coming." The ship shuddered as something massive dropped out of hyperspace nearby. On the external cameras, a vessel appeared that dwarfed even the derelict they'd found Atlas in. Its surface writhed with the same biomechanical technology, but this ship was alive, active, hungry. "Battle stations," Rodriguez barked into his comm. "All hands prepare for." The ship went dark. Emergency lights kicked in as system after system failed. Sarah could hear panic in the crew's voices as they reported total technology failure throughout the vessel. Whatever the alien ship had done, it had shut them down completely. Atlas stood, its form seeming to grow larger as energy coursed through its hybrid body. "I can help," it communicated, "but you must trust me." Sarah looked at Rodriguez, who was already reaching for his sidearm. "Commando, wait. Atlas knows their technology. It's our only chance. And if it turns on us the moment we let it out, if this was its plan all along." Through their connection, Sarah felt Atlas' response, not in words, but in emotions and memories. The loneliness of being different, of being seen as a failure, because it could feel compassion. The gratitude toward these humans who had saved it without asking anything in return. "Atlas could have killed us 100 times already," Sarah argued. "It chose to help us instead. Now we need to choose to help it." Rodriguez looked between Sarah and Atlas, years of military training warring with the evidence before his eyes. Finally, he lowered his weapon. "Do it. But Doctor, this is on you." Sarah deactivated the containment field. Atlas stepped forward, its movements fluid and purposeful. Through their link, Sarah could sense it interfacing with the ship's systems, its hybrid nature allowing it to communicate with both organic and mechanical technology. Suddenly, the emergency lights steadied. Life support stabilized. Atlas had taken control of the ship's basic functions, bypassing whatever the alien vessel had done to shut them down. The creators seek perfection through control, Atlas explained in their minds, its thoughts now reaching the entire bridge crew. They cannot comprehend power that comes from trust, from choice. The alien ship fired, a beam of energy that should have torn through the Horizon's hull. Instead, it dissipated against a shield of shifting, crystalline energy that Atlas had somehow generated around their vessel. "Their weapons are extensions of themselves," Atlas continued, "but they forgot that I was made to be their ultimate creation. I know their weaknesses." Through their mental link, Sarah watched in awe as Atlas directed the ship's remaining power into a precise pattern, creating a feedback loop that turned the aliens' own technology against them. The massive vessel's surface began to ripple and distort, its biomechanical systems failing as Atlas exploited flaws in their design. But the strain was obvious. Atlas's form flickered, its hybrid systems struggling to maintain both the shield and the counter-attack. Sarah could feel its pain, its determination not to fail these humans who had shown it kindness. "You don't have to do this alone," she said, placing her hand on Atlas's metallic hide. One by one, other crew members stepped forward, following her lead. Through their growing connection, they offered their support, their trust, their strength. Atlas's eyes glowed brighter. The shield strengthened. The counterattack intensified. The alien vessel, for all its size and power, had never encountered anything like this, a union of human compassion and their own technology, working in perfect harmony. Its systems couldn't adapt fast enough. With a final surge of energy that made every light on the horizon flare, Atlas struck. The alien ship's biomechanical surface went dark, its systems shutting down completely. It hung in space, dead and silent. Atlas collapsed, its form shifting between solid and translucent as its systems struggled to stabilize. Sarah and the medical team rushed to its side, but through their link they could feel its satisfaction. It had protected its new family. "Why?" Rodriguez asked, kneeling beside the exhausted creature. "Why fight so hard for us?" Atlas' response came slowly, each word carefully chosen. "Because you gave me choice. The creators sought to make weapons. You showed me I could be more." As the emergency teams worked to restore the ship's systems and Atlas recovered its strength, Sarah realized they had witnessed something unprecedented. Not just a demonstration of advanced alien technology, but proof that compassion could bridge the gap between species, between organic and mechanical, between what was created and what was chosen. The creators would return, that was certain, but they would find something they had never expected. Their perfect weapon had found perfection not in control, but in freedom. And it would fight to protect that freedom with everything it had. Hidden potential. The week following the confrontation with the creator's ship transformed the Horizon into something entirely new. Atlas, growing stronger each day, began integrating with the vessel's systems in ways that defied conventional engineering. The ship's corridors pulsed with the same bioluminescent energy that flowed through Atlas's hybrid form, and crew members reported increased efficiency in everything from life support to navigation. Dr. James Kumar spent hours studying the changes, his quantum analyzer working overtime. "It's extraordinary," he explained during an emergency council meeting. "Atlas isn't just interfacing with our technology, it's evolving it, making it better." Sarah watched through the observation window as Atlas moved through the cargo bay, its massive form graceful despite its size. Through their strengthening mental link, she could sense its contentment, its joy in finally being able to create rather than destroy. "The creators designed Atlas to be adaptable," Sarah added, addressing the assembled officers. "But they never imagined it would adapt like this. They wanted a weapon that could infiltrate and destroy enemy technology. Instead, they created something that could enhance and improve it." Commander Rodriguez cleared his throat. "That's what concerns the Admiralty. They're worried we're becoming too dependent on technology we don't understand. Technology that could turn against us." Atlas's voice echoed in their minds, gentle but firm. "Your fear is natural, but consider, I could have taken control of your ship at any time. Instead, I ask permission. I suggest rather than command. I have learned from you that true strength comes from cooperation, not control." The demonstration came without warning. Atlas's form began to shift, breaking down into streams of nanites that flowed through the ship's systems. Suddenly, every screen on the bridge lit up with a three-dimensional display of nearby space. Stars, planets, and spatial anomalies appeared with perfect clarity, mapped with a precision their instruments had never achieved. "This is how I see," Atlas explained, its consciousness spread throughout the ship, yet somehow still focused. "I offer this vision freely, but only if you choose to accept it." The implications were staggering. With Atlas's help, they could navigate areas of space that had been too dangerous to explore. They could predict stellar phenomena that their instruments couldn't detect. They could see the universe as it truly was. But the moment of wonder was shattered by a proximity alert. A massive meteor storm, previously hidden behind a nebula, was heading straight for them. Traditional sensors would have detected it too late for evasion. "Atlas," Sarah called out, both aloud and mentally, "we need you." The response was immediate. Atlas's nanites coalesced back into its physical form, but maintained connections with the ship's systems. Through their mental link, Sarah felt its plan form. "Your engines cannot outrun this," Atlas communicated, "but together we can do something better." The creature's form began to glow with intense energy. Throughout the ship, panels opened in the hull, revealing crystalline structures that Atlas had been growing, organic technology that interfaced seamlessly with the Horizon's mechanical systems. "Commander," Atlas addressed Rodriguez directly, "I need your permission to temporarily merge with your vessel's primary systems. What I'm about to do requires perfect synchronization." Rodriguez looked at Sarah, then at the approaching meteor storm visible on their enhanced displays. "Do it." The transformation was beautiful and terrifying. Atlas's form seemed to dissolve into pure energy, spreading through the ship's systems like liquid light. The Horizon's hull rippled, taking on some of the organic characteristics of the creator's technology, but controlled, purposeful. "Hold on," Atlas's voice resonated through every mind on board. The ship accelerated, but not through conventional engines. Instead, the crystalline structures Atlas had grown began generating a field that bent space itself around them. As meteors approached, the field redirected them, creating paths of least resistance that guided the deadly projectiles safely around the vessel. Through their connection, Sarah could feel the immense concentration required for Atlas to maintain this level of control. It wasn't just moving the ship, it was calculating millions of possible trajectories simultaneously, adjusting the space-bending field microsecond by microsecond to account for each new threat. The crew watched in awe as meteors the size of small moons flowed around them like water around a stone. The Horizon danced through the storm, guided by an intelligence that bridged the gap between organic intuition and mechanical precision. When they finally emerged on the other side of the meteor field, Atlas reformed its physical body, though Sarah could sense its exhaustion. The crystalline structures retracted, leaving the horizon's hull altered but intact, stronger now, more resilient. That, Dr. Kumar whispered, checking his readings, should have been impossible. The energy requirements alone. Impossible by your current understanding, Atlas corrected gently. But your species has so much potential. You simply need to see what you're truly capable of. Commander Rodriguez stood from his chair, approaching Atlas with a new respect in his eyes. You could have let us die. The creators would have retrieved you from our wreckage. You could have gone home. Atlas' response filled their minds with warmth. I am home. The creators built me to be perfect, but they never understood what perfection truly means. It's not about power or control. It's about finding where you belong. About choosing to protect those who choose to trust you. Sarah felt tears in her eyes as she realized what Atlas had done. It hadn't just saved them from the meteor storm, it had shown them a glimpse of humanity's potential. The technology it was sharing wasn't just about improving their ships or weapons. It was about evolution, about growing beyond their current limitations. But through their mental link, she also sensed Atlas's concern. The creators would have detected the energy signature from their escape. They would know now what their abandoned experiment had become, and they would come in force to reclaim it. The question was, would the Horizon's crew be ready? Could they learn to fully embrace this merger of human ingenuity and alien technology before the creators returned? Atlas's golden eyes met Sarah's, and she felt its determination. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The creature designed to be the perfect weapon had instead become the perfect teacher, showing humanity a path to the stars they had never imagined possible. The pursuit. The warning came 3 days after their escape from the meteor storm. Atlas, still connected to the Horizon's enhanced sensor network, detected the quantum ripples first, massive disturbances in space-time that indicated multiple creator vessels dropping out of hyperspace. 7 ships, Atlas announced, its form shifting anxiously as it processed the data. Warships. They've never sent this many before. Sarah stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display as massive biomechanical vessels emerged from hyperspace in a perfect containment pattern around them. The creators' ships dwarfed the horizon, their surfaces writhing with living metal that seemed to absorb nearby starlight. They're not here just for me, Atlas communicated through their mental link. They want to understand how humans were able to work with me. They want to study you. Commander Rodriguez's face hardened as he assessed their options. How long until they're in weapons range? That's not their plan, Atlas replied. Look. The creator vessels began emitting a strange energy field, one that spread between them like a web of living lightning. Sarah felt Atlas's fear spike through their connection. It recognized this strategy. They're creating a quantum cage, Atlas explained urgently. Once it's complete, we won't be able to escape. Not through normal space or hyperspace. Can we break through? Rodriguez demanded. Not alone, but... Atlas paused, its golden eyes scanning the crew. There is a way. It's dangerous, and it will require complete trust. Sarah stepped forward. Whatever you need. I can temporarily merge your consciousness with the ship's systems, all of you. Your human intuition combined with my technology might be enough to find a weakness in their cage, but the mental strain could kill us, Sarah finished, feeling the truth of it through their link. Rodriguez looked at his crew. No words were needed. They had all seen what Atlas was capable of, had all felt the growing connection between human and hybrid minds over the past days. One by one, they nodded. Do it, Rodriguez commanded. Atlas's form began to dissolve, spreading through the ship's systems like quicksilver. Sarah felt its consciousness brush against hers, stronger than ever before, and then everything changed. She was a ship. They all were. Every crew member's consciousness expanded, merged, guided by Atlas's hybrid intelligence. Sarah could feel the quantum cage forming around them, could sense its complex energy patterns with an understanding that went beyond human science. Through their merged awareness, they began to work as one. Engineering crews instinctively rerouted power in patterns they couldn't consciously understand, but somehow knew were right. Navigation officers perceived spatial dimensions that human minds normally couldn't process. Even the ship's hull began to respond, its Atlas-modified structure adapting to channel energies in new ways. The creator's trap was nearly complete, but they had never encountered anything like this. The mathematical precision of their technology merged with the creative chaos of human consciousness. There, Sarah/Atlas/Horizon perceived a fluctuation in the quantum cage, a pattern that human intuition recognized as similar to wave interference in water. A way out. The ship moved as one living organism, its systems powered by the combined will of its crew. Energy coursed through the crystalline structures Atlas had grown throughout the hull, bending space in ways that the creators hadn't thought possible because they had never considered combining their technology with human creativity. The cage snapped shut just as they reached the weakness, and for a moment, everything hung in perfect balance. The creator's technology tried to hold them, while the combined human/hybrid consciousness pushed against it in ways that defied conventional physics. Through their merged awareness, Sarah felt Atlas's memories surface, years of experiments, of the creators trying to force it to be what they wanted. But here now, it was finally becoming what it was meant to be, not a weapon, but a bridge between species. The Horizon's hull screamed as reality itself bent around them. Warning signals flared across their shared consciousness as systems redlined. They were going to break through or break apart. Then suddenly, something shifted. A new pattern emerged from the chaos of their merged minds. Not human, not creator, but something entirely new. Atlas recognized it first. They weren't just trying to escape the cage, they were becoming something the cage couldn't hold. With a flash of energy that temporarily blinded every sensor in range, the Horizon broke free. Space itself rippled around them as they accelerated away from the creator's ships, riding a wave of possibility that their merged consciousness had somehow generated. When they finally slowed enough to assess their situation, they found themselves light years from their previous position. The creator vessels were nowhere in sight. Slowly, carefully, Atlas began separating their consciousnesses, returning each crew member to their own mind. The process was gentle, but left them all changed. They had seen the universe through each other's eyes, had shared a perspective that no human or hybrid had ever experienced before. Sarah leaned against her console, her mind reeling from the experience. Through their lingering connection, she could sense Atlas' concern. The merger, Atlas communicated. It changed more than I expected. Your minds, they adapted, evolved. Looking around the bridge, Sarah could see it in her crewmates' eyes. A new awareness, a deeper understanding. They had touched something profound in their merged state, had glimpsed potential that neither humanity nor the creators had imagined possible. They'll come again, Rodriguez said, his voice hoarse. And they'll be ready for this trick next time. Yes, Atlas agreed. But so will we. What we just discovered, it's only the beginning. Sarah touched the nearest wall, feeling the pulse of energy that now flowed through the entire ship. The Horizon was no longer just a vessel. It had become a symbol of what was possible when different species chose to trust each other completely. The creators had wanted to create the perfect weapon. Instead, they had inadvertently helped forge the perfect alliance. The question now was, what would this alliance become, and would the galaxy be ready for it? Unlikely allies. The Earth Defense Council chamber fell silent as the holographic recording ended. Sarah had just shown them footage of the Horizon's escape from the creator's quantum cage, though the true experience, the merging of minds, the evolution of consciousness, was something no recording could capture. You're telling us, Admiral Chen said slowly, that this alien hybrid has fundamentally altered your crew's neural patterns, that you're all becoming something different. Sarah stood firm before the council, Atlas a towering presence beside her. Through their link, she could sense its cautious optimism. After their escape, they had made the dangerous decision to return to Earth, knowing humanity needed to understand what they were facing and what they could become. "We're not becoming different," Sarah corrected. "We're becoming more." Atlas helped us access potential that was always there, locked in our minds. The council chamber's security systems hummed as Atlas stepped forward. Its form had evolved since their escape, becoming more refined, the merger of organic and mechanical elements more seamless. When it spoke, its thoughts reached everyone in the room. "Your species stands at a crossroads," Atlas explained. "The creators are gathering their forces not just to reclaim me, but to prevent humanity from achieving what they fear most, a true symbiosis of organic creativity and advanced technology." Screens around the chamber lit up, showing data from the Horizon's enhanced sensors. Hundreds of creator vessels were emerging from deep space, more than anyone had imagined existed. They were converging on Earth's sector of space. "How long?" Admiral Chen demanded. 3 days, Atlas replied. "But there's something else. Something the creators don't want you to know." The hybrid's form shifted, projecting a new hologram, this one showing other alien vessels, different from the creators' biomechanical ships. They were sleek, crystalline structures that seemed to phase in and out of normal space. "The nomads," Atlas explained. "Another species the creators tried to subjugate. They resisted, developed their own path of evolution. The creators hunted them nearly to extinction, but some survived, hiding in dimensions the creators couldn't access." Sarah felt Atlas' excitement through their link. "They've been watching us, watching how we work together. They want to help." Admiral Chen's eyes narrowed. "Why haven't they contacted us directly?" "Because," a new voice echoed through the chamber, "we needed to be certain." The air shimmered, and a figure appeared, tall, ethereal, its form composed of crystalline structures that reminded Sarah of the modifications Atlas had made to the Horizon. A nomad ambassador. "We have watched countless species fall to the creators," the ambassador continued, its voice resonating directly in their minds. "Some fought, some surrendered, some tried to bargain, but you did something unprecedented. You showed compassion to one of their weapons. You trusted instead of feared. You adapted instead of resisting." The chamber erupted in murmurs as more nomad representatives appeared, their crystalline forms refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. Through their mental link, Sarah felt Atlas' recognition. The nomads had achieved what the creators thought impossible, a perfect balance between technological advancement and organic growth. "We offer an alliance," the ambassador stated. "Our technology, combined with your potential and Atlas' understanding of the creators' weaknesses, together we might finally end their crusade of forced perfection." Admiral Chen stood, his military bearing warring with awe. "You're talking about a war. We've never faced anything on this scale." "No," Atlas corrected. "We're talking about evolution. The creators believe perfection comes from control, from forcing life to follow their design. But the crew of the Horizon proved there's another way. Voluntary cooperation, mutual growth, trust." Sarah stepped forward. "Show them," she urged Atlas. "Show them what's possible." Atlas's form began to glow, and through their connection, Sarah felt it reaching out to everyone in the chamber. Not forcing, not controlling, just offering. One by one, the council members gasped as their consciousness expanded, touching something larger than themselves. For a brief moment, they all shared Atlas' perception, the quantum threads that connected all living things, the potential sleeping in their own minds, the possibility of becoming something greater without losing what made them human. When the connection faded, the chamber was silent. Sarah could see it in their eyes, the same awakening she and her crew had experienced. Understanding, wonder, and most importantly, hope. The creators will be here in 3 days, Atlas reminded them. They believe they're coming to crush a potential rival. Instead, they'll find something they never imagined: three species working together, not through force or fear, but through choice. The Nomad Ambassador's crystalline form pulsed with energy. "We can help you prepare your defenses, adapt your technology." But the greatest weapon against the creators isn't technology at all. It's your humanity, your creativity, your adaptability, your capacity for trust and growth. Admiral Chen looked at his fellow council members, then at the assembled representatives of three different species, each offering a different path to the future. His voice was firm when he spoke. "How do we begin?" The next 3 days transformed Earth's orbital defenses into something unprecedented. Nomad crystalline technology merged with human installations, guided by Atlas' understanding of both organic and mechanical systems. The Horizon's crew, their evolved consciousness now able to interface directly with the hybrid technology, trained other humans to access their own latent potential. But more important than the physical preparations was the psychological change spreading through Earth's population. As news of the alliance spread, as people began to understand what was truly possible, fear gave way to determination. Humanity had faced extinction-level threats before, but this time they weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for evolution itself. The creators were coming to end what they saw as a contamination of their perfect design. They would find instead that their greatest creation had helped humanity unlock its greatest strength, the power to choose its own path to perfection. The choice. Dawn broke over Earth's horizon as the first creator vessels emerged from hyperspace. Their massive biomechanical forms blotted out the stars, an armada so vast it seemed to fill the sky. Sarah stood on the horizon's bridge, now transformed by the merger of human, nomad, and Atlas's technology into something that defied conventional classification. Through their enhanced mental link, she felt Atlas's tension. Their broadcasting, it communicated to everyone connected to the network. "They want to speak." The main screen flickered, and for the first time, humanity saw a creator. Its form was both beautiful and terrifying, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell, geometric patterns shifting across its surface in complex algorithms. When it spoke, its words bypassed their communication systems entirely, resonating directly in their minds. "Return our property," the creator demanded. "Submit to evaluation. Your species shows promise, but you require guidance to achieve perfection." Atlas stepped forward, its hybrid form now rivaling the creators in complexity. "I am not property," it responded, its thoughts powerful enough to make the ship's systems hum. "And humanity does not need your guidance." "You were designed to be perfect," the creator stated, "yet you choose imperfection. You embrace chaos." "I choose freedom," Atlas corrected. "I choose growth through cooperation rather than control. Your definition of perfection is stagnation." The creator's form pulsed with energy that felt like anger. "You have corrupted them with these ideas. Their potential will be wasted on pointless individuality when they could be remade into something greater." Sarah felt a surge of emotion through their link, not just from Atlas, but from every connected mind in Earth's defense network. Humans, nomads, and hybrid systems all united in a single moment of clarity. "You still don't understand," Atlas communicated. "Let me show you what true potential looks like." Without warning, Atlas initiated a merge unlike anything they had attempted before. But this time, it wasn't just connecting with the crew or the ship's systems. Its consciousness expanded outward, touching every mind in the defense network, every piece of hybrid technology, every nomad crystal matrix. Sarah felt herself drawn into something vast, a collective consciousness that somehow strengthened individual identity rather than suppressing it. Through their merged awareness, she could see what Atlas was trying to show the creators: billions of minds working in perfect harmony while remaining distinctly themselves. The Horizon's systems surged with power as every connected consciousness contributed its energy, its creativity, its uniqueness to the whole. The ship began to transform, its hull flowing like liquid metal, incorporating elements of creator, nomad, and human design into something entirely new. Other Earth ships followed suit, their crews linked into the same network, each vessel becoming a unique expression of three species' combined potential. The nomad ships phased between dimensions, their crystalline forms refracting light in impossible ways. The Creator Armada responded with a blast of energy that should have vaporized the Horizon's hull. Instead, the attack was absorbed, redirected, transformed by technology that evolved even as they watched. The hybrid ships moved in patterns that ignored conventional physics, their crews combined consciousness, allowing them to perceive and exploit weaknesses in space-time itself. This is what you never understood. Atlas broadcasted to the creators. True perfection isn't about control, it's about choice, about finding strength in diversity. Each mind in our network is unique, contributing something that no other can. Through their merged awareness, Sarah felt the Creator Collective's shock. They had never imagined their creation could evolve so far beyond its original purpose, could help forge an alliance that defied their fundamental beliefs about order and perfection. The battle that followed wasn't just a clash of technologies or tactics. It was a war of ideologies, forced perfection versus chosen evolution, control versus cooperation. Creator ships fought with devastating power, their weapons designed to unmake matter itself. But they faced something unprecedented, an alliance of three species, each contributing their unique strengths: human creativity and adaptability, nomad dimensional mastery, Atlas's hybrid understanding of both organic and mechanical systems, all working together not through control, but through trust. The Creator Collective's perfect formations began to break as their ships encountered strategies they couldn't predict, adaptations they couldn't counter. Their technology, designed to impose order, couldn't match the creative chaos of freely cooperating minds. In the midst of the battle, Sarah felt Atlas' consciousness focus on something critical. Through their link, she saw what it had discovered. The Creator Collective wasn't as unified as it appeared. Some of them were beginning to question, to wonder if their pursuit of controlled perfection had led them astray. They're afraid, Atlas communicated to the network, not of our weapons, but of our freedom, of the proof that there's another way. The turning point came when a creator vessel broke formation, its biomechanical surface rippling with change. Through their merged consciousness, they felt the crew of that ship choosing to disconnect from the collective, choosing individuality over imposed perfection. Then another ship followed, and another. The Creator Collective's perfect order began to fracture as more of their own kind chose freedom. Ships that had been designed to enforce uniformity began expressing individual variations, their crews awakening to the possibility of choice. Sarah felt tears in her eyes as she watched through both physical and mental senses as the greatest empire in known space began to transform, not through force or destruction, but through the power of demonstrated possibility. Atlas's voice echoed through their shared consciousness. This was always the real choice, not between perfection and imperfection, but between imposed order and chosen growth, between being what others demand and becoming what we choose to be. The Creator Armada hung motionless in space, their ships now a mix of those still connected to the collective and those who had chosen independence. The battle had ended not with destruction but with transformation. Through their link, Sarah felt Atlas's satisfaction, its joy at seeing its creators finally understanding what it had learned from humanity. The perfect weapon had become the perfect teacher, showing even its makers that true perfection couldn't be forced, it had to be chosen. A new dawn. 1 year after the Creator Collective's transformation, the Horizon docked at Unity Station, a massive structure orbiting Earth that embodied the alliance between humans, nomads, and the reformed creators. Its spiral arms combined crystalline nomad architecture, creator biomechanics, and human innovation into something that seemed to defy the laws of physics while celebrating the strengths of each species. Sarah walked through corridors where gravity shifted according to thought, where walls responded to emotional states, and where consciousness could expand to touch the very fabric of space-time. Atlas moved beside her, its form now so evolved that it seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "They're ready," Atlas communicated, its thoughts touching not just Sarah's mind, but the station's integrated systems. The great chamber ahead of them opened, revealing representatives from dozens of worlds. Some were purely organic, others mechanical, and many somewhere in between. All had come to witness something unprecedented. The Earth Defense Council had been reformed into the Galactic Evolution Council, dedicated not to military power, but to fostering growth and cooperation between species. Today, they would officially recognize a new form of life, one born from the merger of human, creator, and nomad consciousness with hybrid technology. "The universe is changing," Sarah addressed the assembled representatives, her voice carrying both through air and through the station's telepathic network. Not through force or control, but through choice and cooperation. Holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing the spread of what they now call the consciousness revolution. Worlds that had lived in fear of creator perfection were discovering their own paths to evolution. Species that had hidden their true potential were emerging, adding their unique perspectives to the growing galactic network. Atlas stepped forward, its form shifting to better communicate with each species present. "1 year ago, we fought a battle not between good and evil, but between two different visions of perfection. One sought to impose order from above. The other recognized that true perfection comes from below." A creator representative continued, its crystalline form now uniquely individual rather than part of a collective. From billions of minds choosing to work together while maintaining their distinctiveness. Through their enhanced link, Sarah felt Atlas's satisfaction. The hybrid had come so far from the weapon it was designed to be. It had become a bridge not just between technologies, but between ways of thinking about consciousness itself. The station hummed with energy as Atlas initiated a controlled merge, allowing every representative to experience the network that now connected participating worlds. Not a hive mind that suppressed individuality, but a symphony where each consciousness contributed its unique note to a greater harmony. "This is what the creators originally sought," Atlas explained. "Not the false perfection of forced uniformity, but the true perfection of chosen unity. They just couldn't see that the path to it required letting go of control." Sarah watched as the assembled representatives experienced the merge, saw the wonder in their expressions as they touched something larger than themselves while remaining distinctly individual. This was humanity's gift to the galaxy, not technology or military might, but the demonstrated possibility that evolution could come through cooperation rather than competition. A nomad representative phased into view, its crystalline form refracting light in patterns that spoke of deep emotion. Our species hid between dimensions for centuries, believing isolation was the only alternative to submission. Humanity showed us a third path, transformation through trust. The chamber's displays shifted to show the changes spreading across known space. Creator vessels, once instruments of forced perfection, now served as bridges between worlds, their hybrid technology helping other species discover their own potential. Nomad dimensional science merged with human creativity to forge new ways of exploring the universe. But most importantly, consciousness itself was evolving. The ability to merge minds while maintaining individuality, to share perspectives without losing one's own, was revolutionizing everything from art to science to governance. "This is only the beginning," Atlas communicated to the assembled representatives. "Each species that joins our network brings new possibilities, new ways of perceiving reality, new paths to growth. We are becoming something greater than any single species could imagine, yet we remain uniquely ourselves." Sarah stepped forward, feeling the weight of the moment. "Today, we recognize not just a new form of life, but a new way of living. The merger of organic and mechanical, of individual and collective, of multiple species consciousness into something that transcends all while diminishing none. The station's systems pulsed with energy as Atlas initiated the final demonstration, a controlled merge of every mind present, each consciousness contributing its unique perspective to a moment of shared understanding. Through their combined awareness, they could see the future unfolding, a galaxy where evolution came through choice, where perfection meant celebrating differences rather than erasing them. As the merge gently ended, Sarah felt tears in her eyes. The weapon designed to enforce perfection had instead become the key to achieving it naturally. The humans who were meant to be subjugated had instead shown the way to willing transcendence. The species that should have been enemies had become family. Atlas's form shifted one final time, becoming something that symbolized all they had achieved, neither purely organic nor mechanical, neither singular nor collective, but a bridge between all states of being. Its thoughts reach every mind present. The creators sought to make me perfect, never understanding that perfection cannot be made. It must be chosen, again and again, by each consciousness that joins our journey. This is not an ending, but a beginning. Together, we will discover what consciousness can truly become. The chamber erupted in a celebration that transcended physical expression, rippling through both space and the mental network that connected them all. They had started a revolution not with weapons but with trust, not with control but with choice. Sarah looked at Atlas, remembering the drowning creature she had first encountered. "Was this your plan all along?" she asked through their link. Atlas' response carried warm amusement. There was no plan, only choice. And you, Sarah Chen, made the first and most important one. You chose to trust something different, something unknown. That choice changed everything. As the celebration continued around them, Sarah smiled, feeling the pulse of countless minds connected in willing harmony. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but perhaps the greatest wonder was this, that the path to perfection lay not in force or control, but in the simple choice to trust, to cooperate, to grow together while remaining uniquely oneself. The story that began with a rescue had become something far greater, a revolution in consciousness itself, spreading across the galaxy one choice at a time. And it was only the beginning.